That would be a good curse, like a voodoo curse. That you
May you always have visible dandruff.
No, that you always feel like you just had a haircut, so that you have the itchiness of that.
Hairs on you.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
No matter how much they like brush and do it off for you, if you're in the salon, you still like wipe behind your ears and have a bunch of little hairs.
The salon. We're in quarantine, my friend.
I don't know. I'm just.
No matter how much you shower in your own apartment.
Between Wednesdays, just trying to get by to the next fix. Living between Wednesdays. Prefer the comics over the Netflix. Living between Wednesdays.
But
Harrison.
I'm Harrison.
Did you like comics?
I did. There are a lot of good comics. Good ongoings.
Yeah.
Got some trades I haven't cracked into yet that I'm really excited for. And obviously the focus here, some awesome new issue ones. I'm going to talk about Norse mythology a little bit because I've been looking forward to this boy.
I saw this coming.
I love this cover. It's just classic, like the white
cover.
and the color. And
It reminds me very much of Sandman. The art in Sandman.
Yeah. I still haven't read it through and I don't know like what the covers are like. So I'm going to take your word for it.
No, the covers of Sandman are a very different thing. Those are like a workshop pastel-y, not pastel.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was
they're
thinking.
but no, the interiors of Sandman. Kind of
Okay, yeah. But yeah, Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology. It is already a book that I've read. Jay has read it as well. And now it's in comic book format. I'm not sure how long this is going to run to cover the entire, if they're going to do the entirety of that book.
It's supposed to.
But we get a few. We get like the origin myth of Yggdrasil and Mimir and his well of wisdom, and the first sort of longer myth that we get like the first half of here is Loki stealing the hair of Sif, who is Thor's wife, and just classic godly shenanigans.
Yeah.
I love the shenanigans of the gods in some mythologies, because some ancient mythologies are just like, oh, and the mighty being created the stars and then they rested, and some of them are like, so this dude went around
nine-legged horse
and and then
pulled some
then
pranks.
then Loki gave birth to a horse, and like they're just wacky, they're screwing with mortals, they're screwing with each other, they're always a good time. Norse and Greek mythology I think are the best for that. But Norse mythology, yeah, we got a few different artists doing different stories. Obviously the big name on this is Mike Mignola, does the interior artwork for the story of the Well of Mimir and the Horn of, oh I know this, the horn's called Gagundaheim.
Not bad, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
My archaeology roots coming through. It's nice to see Mike Mignola doing some interiors. I literally...
They're very beautiful. I want just like a one shot of just that.
Yeah, I would, I mean, I've been following the sketches he's been doing for charity. He's raised like over $150,000 for charity with sketches since March. Like the man is a force of nature to be reckoned with. As for the adaptation, I really like this, but they're very good for different things, which it sounds obvious in my head, but I like the prose of a long-form book. I like reading the myths in like a longer prose with a little more dated language, so it gets me into it. But it's also really nice to have visual representations of the weird, oh, Sif woke up and her hair was bald. Her hair was bald. What? Her head was bald. And Thor ran over to Loki, and Loki put on his winged shoes and flew to the other realms. Like, it's nice to see artwork representing that as well.
And
I
all
also
like,
forget their fucking names, man. Like, so this is what I need, because otherwise you're just like, and Velodheim, and then Mimir, and then Jotunlard, and I'm like, I don't fucking know.
There's 7 realms, right? Okay, we got Alfheim. I'm gonna forget which ones I've already said. We got Alfheim, which is the Light Elves.
Okay.
Asgard.
Yeah.
Midgard. Niflheim. Muspel. Or Muspelheim in Marvel mythology. Vanaheim. And Helheim.
Midgard, is that us? Is that our planet?
Yeah, that's where us peoples are chilling out.
Gotcha.
Rude.
I do play a lot of Smite online MMO, where all the characters you play as are gods of mythology, including the Norse pantheon, so that definitely helps my mind.
Nice, yeah, that was impressive, actually. I don't think I could have done that. In fact, I know I couldn't have done that.
Yeah, this is a really great telling of Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, if you've read that book, I think this is a really great companion piece for some visual representations. If you haven't read that book, like this is a good start. It's not like, oh, what do I need to read the first cycle of Norse mythology? Like, no, it's a number one. It starts with like the founding of Yggdrasil, which is like the world tree that the universe hangs on.
And
like,
Jerry O'Dwyer and Dave Stewart were both like stalwarts of like Neil Gaiman's work beforehand.
Yeah.
They did some like Sandman and they did murder mysteries and stuff. So like it's like, oh yeah, this is like almost its own genre.
Yeah, and I think this is a book that anybody could pick up and have a good time. Whether you're, it's so weird for me though to still think of like Thor, Loki, and Odin outside of the Marvel universe because it's so ingrained.
Yeah.
So when I see like Thor and Loki, but not like my Thor and Loki,
Yeah.
it's still a little jarring.
Well, yeah, I'm like, wait, when did Thor marry Sif?
And Loki's got like a shaved head and an earring, and he doesn't have his Mjolnir. He just has his belt of strength. That one I'm not going to remember the name for. That's my moment of shame. But yeah, this is just a lovely little bite of Norse mythology. I mean, I fucking love mythology, so I'm the right target audience for this.
Whoa!
Don't forget, it's October.
Don't worry, I never forget. It's the Legend of the Swamp Thing Halloween Spectacular.
Oh jeez.
Spooky!
Yeah. So we usually get a few Halloween specials. DC is normally quite good at this. We usually get some like silly DC villain stuff. But this time we got a Swamp Thing Halloween Spectacular. This was super duper relevant to me, having just finished again for the second time all of the Alan Moore saga of the Swamp Thing very, very recently. So I was pretty excited to get this comic. I also love horror anthologies. I also love DC anthologies. They do a really good job of like putting together a big like multi-page book of one character and giving like a bunch of different writers and artists a shot at like 6 pages of stuff. That's something I can say with confidence that I like from DC Comics, because they're always like trying to keep the flavor of the character alive, but giving everyone kind of their own take. This was definitely that, except for it doesn't pertain to Swamp Thing like as Alec Holland necessarily. These are all little shorts about just like Swamp Thing as an avatar of the green and what that has looked like throughout time and history in sort of like a malevolent way, but not really. Just like sort of like a force of nature against anything opposing the natural balance of the world. And it has like a weirdly positive vibe by the end.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me. It's held together by the duct tape of a little boy who gets lost in the swamp, and then a willow tree is trying to hang on to him because she can sense that he's scared and
Well, a lot of people have died by that willow tree in swamp, so like it's absorbing, much like Alec Holland is dead, but like the swamp absorbed his essence, like she's absorbing the essence of this, and it kind of reminds me of the old elder tree from Pocahontas.
Yeah, it's definitely intentionally echoing that. So she's like, maybe I can hang on to him and I can keep him from this fate that humans have, and all this fear and negativity and death, and Swamp Thing being an avatar of the green is like, that's not what we're here for. I understand why you're confused. I understand why you're attached to all these ideas that are human ideas. Let me give you sort of like the picture of what we're here for. And then it goes into like 6 different stories about, so. I really like Swamp Thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Jay.
Getting it together.
Do you have it together?
I will after I finish this run of Getting It Together by Sina Grace. Getting It Together. It's an image number 1 that is clearly the Friends promo art where they all hold umbrellas.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's image, so I read it. I didn't know what this was about. I have no idea what the vibe was supposed to be. I got into it. I was waiting for them to find a dead body or an alien to blow something up or an amoeba. or one of them's a
Space
vampire.
amoeba.
None of that happened.
Just a whole lot of talk about sounding.
This is, yes, and I learned how sounding works. No, getting it together, and I don't know if one of these exists, but it's an image like Woody Allen, like Lynn Shelton-esque mumbly human dramedy about a group of friends in their 20s trying to navigate through how confusing that is. And weird and dumb.
Yeah, there's there's hookups, there's people trying to open relationships, and not. Yeah, it's just very.
Very rarely do I like something that references the modern day this much. Like, oh man, on his Instagram he did, and then he slid into my DMs, and oh my god, what's up with his Twitter account, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but this is like very.
But
it
this is,
seems authentic.
Yeah,
and it's conversational.
This is just kind of how we're living right now. So I'm like, yeah, I can't argue that.
No, it's like who wouldn't like find somebody on Tinder and then try and creep that person's social media? Like you'd have to be insane in this day and age to just meet up with a person without trying to figure out what they were about on their own socials, so you don't like accidentally meet like someone in a van who's gonna human traffic you.
Yeah, so
like
I hate being human trafficked. It's the worst.
So it's a mumbly, irresponsible human dramedy about a group of friends, and
people in their 20s.
About people in their 20s. There's nothing too
when you're done.
Crazy about that, but I love the low stakes about it. It's written really well. The dialogue is nice and crackly. The thing I want to talk about is the art. Art's really good. It's way better than it has any right to be. It doesn't need to be this good, but it's good. And it's also nice to see like not that many panels.
Yeah.
It's simple. It has space to breathe. There's a bit in there where the one guy who's like going through a breakup is talking to his coworker. And the background is just like a few dividers and some screens, and you know they're at the office. Like you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
So it like lacks establishing shots, but it does take from like Friends a bit, where it's like you only need those couple of settings and you don't need a lot there. Like they're in the apartment or they're at the thing. Like it's not important. You don't need to like pan shot every single location.
Pan shot.
But like when I read a Marvel thing, especially this day and age, they have to cram so much information into each page.
So much like expository like boxes and. So
like when it comes to create our own stuff, they kind of pull back on panels. So like the average amount of panels per page in this is around 5, which I'm assuming, which is really nice. I don't need to be inundated with so many fucking images. And like the average in like a Marvel event is like 8 to 12. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm getting my information, but I'm not able to like digest this.
I'm not allowed to hang out or enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to like ingest it and then be like, bah. Also, it doesn't pander to you. It's not like, oh, this is my sister. She dates this guy. Like, there's none of that. Like, none of that snarky inner monologue or none of the over-explanation. Like, I'm gay. Like, nothing.
Wednesday to Wednesday. I be going hard from like Wednesday to Wednesday. Yeah, hey, pal. You got that one where Superman goes to Supertown? Yeah, I got that when it come out. I like the 4th